Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to do a little tutorial here on a slingshot fork. This is a natural slingshot fork which I cut off of a Bradford pear tree just a little bit ago. It's not the best fork, but it is a natural fork that I cut off a Bradford pear tree. I'll set it on out there so you can see it, take a good look at it. It's not a bad little fork. I mean, it could be a heck of a lot better, but I just doing a little video here on this thing to let you know my experiences on these forks. This one could be a little bit straighter, and the fork could be a little bit better pronged, but I'm just going to go ahead and try to work with this thing. But one of the things I wanted to let you know about was that I cut a few of these off of the Bradford pear tree a couple of days ago, and they were fairly nice forks. They were a lot bigger than this, but what I did is I skinned them down. I took all the bark off, and I let them air dry. They were really heavy forks. They were a lot bigger than this, but what happened over the next couple of days is they air drying, they started cracking and busting. So I figured that I would take and cut another one of these and leave the bark on and air dry it in the microwave. And that's what I did. And I had these little scales here, you can see. Put it out there where you can see it. I'll turn the scales on. And you can see that it registers 2.9 ounces. Well, it started out when I first did when I first cut the fork and I weighed it, it was 5.9 ounces. And then I microwaved it for 2 minutes and it was 5 ounces. Microwaved it for 2 more minutes and it was 3.9 ounces. Microwaved it for 2 more minutes and it was 3.2 ounces. Microwaved it an additional 1 minute and it was down to 3 ounces. And then another minute was down to 2.8 ounces. And then another minute was down to 2.9 ounces. Now what that shows, those last 3 readings shows that we've got it to the state to where it's pretty much bone dry. I mean, if you microwave it anymore, it's not going to lose any additional weight. One thing that happened after I microwaved it those first 3 2-minute sessions, and I started microwaving it for additional 2 minutes, it started smoking really, really bad as if it was burning. And you can see here on the ends that it's charred pretty bad, like it was starting to burn. And also here on this end you can see it was charred, and there again. Also one of the microwaves, I was microwaving it and it was smoke. I mean, not moisture, smoke was just pouring straight out of one of the center of one of the ends. I mean, it was just like a water hose squirting water out, just a stream of smoke. It was really neat to watch that. But anyway, the bark has not cracked any, so I think leaving the bark on is a key, and microwaving them, and you get them down to what's called this bone dry state, where if you dry them anymore, they're not going to lose any additional weight. As you can see, this thing went from 5.9 ounces down to 2.9 ounces. It actually lost half its weight by drying it. And Bradford pear, by the way, is a pretty heavy piece of wood. It's got the, right now here, it's got the sap up in the tree, so it's a pretty heavy piece of wood. So now I can skin this down, and it's bone dry, and I don't have to worry about it drying out and cracking on me. Another little piece of information here is that you need to flip this thing between microwave dryings. You need to dry it maybe like that, and then after you dry it for like 2 minutes, then you flip it. And then when you get down to drying it for minute intervals, you dry it like that for 30 seconds and then flip it and dry it for 30 seconds. I've learned this from cooking baked potatoes in the microwave, that if you cook them and don't turn them, then they get real hard on the bottom because the moisture goes up and the bottom dries out really, really good, and it becomes hard, whereas the top still has a lot of moisture in them. So when you're microwaving potatoes, you need to flip them. Otherwise, and also wood like this, because the moisture evaporates upward, and that way it'll dry out more evenly, and you won't have that problem of it getting real hard on one side and not being hard on the other side. So what I learned from this is that this is a good way to dry wood. You can dry actually hammer and hatchet handles, small axe handles, small round pieces of wood, anything that you're going to make like a fishing plug out of, or some sort of little wood carved animal or something like that. You can microwave the wood, and that's a good way to dry it. You don't have to worry about kiln drying anything. Microwave works just fine. So anyway, let me go ahead and cut this thing off. This has been, like I say, a little tutorial, or my experiences, if you will, of working on this Slingshot fork and drying it out. What I plan to do is put some bands on this. I'm going to use some rubber bands, link them together, and put on this, and I'm going to shoot this thing and make also some more natural fork slingshots, and I'm going to shoot it and see how it shoots, and then I may make another one. I may continue to use this one, but we'll just take this thing on down the road here and see how it works. But anyway, this is a little tutorial on Slingshot forks. After I get the bands on this thing and so forth, I'll make another little tutorial on it. Once again, this is a Bradford tree pear fork, Bradford pear tree fork, and I'm making a Slingshot fork out of it. I'm going to cut it down a bit and put some bands on it and shoot it. I might leave the bark on it, and I might skin the bark off. I really don't know at this point. But anyway, thanks a lot, folks, and you have a nice day, and don't forget to subscribe to this video, and I hope somebody out there learned something from this little video. Thanks a lot, and you folks have a nice day.